Yo, my man. How you doing, man? You okay? On some pain pills? Good?
Good, man. Good. Yeah.
Good.
Hopped up on pain meds.
That's great. I'm sure this is gonna be a great episode. You're gonna
If I
contribute.
start slurring and saying all kinds of weird stuff, then just go with it. Just
I'll just attribute it to being a Tuesday. I'll just be like, yeah, that's Tuesday. Uh so uh an interesting I want to talk a little bit about goals and there was just an interesting perspective that came up in our came up in our meetings this morning with the mastermind. One was actually in a podcast we recorded this morning with Eric Johnson. I'm not sure if this will come out before or after that podcast, but dude is absolutely amazing, ninja, and I loved one of the things that he said. And then I talked about the same conversation with one of our mastermind groups, and one of the dudes in that group sent me a text that I thought was a pretty cool quote, also, driving towards this idea of goals and life vision. And for context, Eric went to our most recent retreat, and he said that he oftentimes struggled with the idea of his goals because he thought they might be too big, right? Like, and whether that he didn't really dive into whether that was as a result of like people he shared it with and they expressed doubt, or just from the potentially his background and his his the group of people, his business partners, clearly not part of this group, but the people that he potentially associated with, and just them not thinking as big as he thinks, and going for goals as big as his goals, because I imagine his goals are pretty phenomenal. But he said an interesting thing. He said, I've kind of been afraid of my goals recently, right? I've been afraid that they're too big. But then I went to the retreat and was surrounded with guys that challenged me in a different way. And I realized my goals are too small. And I was just like, huh. And I think why that resonated with me is most of the time, this whole idea of whether it's New Year's resolution, life vision, goal setting, a lot of these things are done in a vacuum, and they're very individualistic exercises in execution for many of us, right? So when I set my New Year resolution, if I'm a New Year's resolution guy, uh, you know, I don't necessarily, first thing I do is go out to my group of folks and be like, hey, here's my goals. What do you think? Or, like, challenge me on this. That's not a normal practice. At least for me, it wasn't. But now you share some things in the group of like the mastermind, and there'll be dudes in there like, well, I guess it's a nice little goal.
that's weak sauce.
That's weak sauce, dude. Like, why wouldn't you? And even just not necessarily in a challenging, negative, challenging way, but like just have someone question, be like, well, why is that? Why is that your goal? Like, have you considered this? And a lot of times, you say your goal is to close on a deal, right? A deal this year. It's a great goal, especially if you never close on a deal. But if you're in our group, would be like, well, like, why a deal? Like, when I put my mind to this, there's guys in our group that would be like, when I put my mind to this, I closed on 15 deals in the first year. I closed on 25 deals on the first year. Like, when I really put my mind to it, surrounding myself with the right people, why one deal? Like, what went into that thinking? And so it's just an interesting thing. And what Eric described, he's like, I had this, it happened to be properties that he mentioned, but he's like, I had this idea of, this 30 property thing. And he didn't give a lot of context to that, but he's like, but then I talked to someone like Marcus Long, and multiples, like times over 100, doors under management and closed and all that kind of stuff. He's like, dude, I just never even considered that. It's pretty powerful. And it just was sitting down at a table being next to a guy at a retreat that you chose to go to that was full of ninjas, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly powerful what happens when you put yourself into a room that are better than you, honestly. Like, and it forces you to grow. It forces you to think bigger. I think a lot of times there's like a lot of self-sabotage that happens. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves that we can only go so far. But when you put yourself in a room and see other guys, other men doing these things with these, goals, multiples higher, right? And they're no different than you. And you see that that individual can do it. Well, that gives you a whole lot of motivation to go do it yourself. And that limiting belief kind of goes out the window. And then you have these guys, you have these men pouring into you and offering you advice and thoughts and help and networks, and this is how I did it, and you know taking you along the journey, and it just makes you better, man. It's incredible how that happens.
Yeah, man. And it also helps you to see, and you said better, and there are ways that they're potentially further ahead, and there are
Yeah,
also
maybe.
things
Yeah,
when you get into those rooms that you realize you can offer, right? Like,
100%.
maybe you don't have as many doors, but maybe you have a phenomenal marriage, and there's certain practices that you do in your marriage that guys never even considered before. And so there's always a give and take,
Mm,
but a lot of it just boils down to, you also see what's possible, right? Like,
yeah,
you just see what's possible. And to someone who has 600 doors or 1,000 doors or 10 million doors, whatever, like, it doesn't really matter. To see that you can also have like an amazing marriage, and to have a strategy that, like, you look at someone, you're like, man, that you guys do what as a couple? Like, that's awesome. I want that for my life. Like, what does that do to what does that do to your business?
yeah,
And so there's so many different ways that these goals are just, like, if I imagine, if you want to achieve a fitness goal, and Pat Anderson is at the retreat, and you're talking to him, you're like, oh, maybe I should reconsider. Or you have a running goal and Matt Herron's there, you're like, okay, yeah, I should, or I think of like Mikey Perio and like mountain biking, right? And at one point he was telling about his training regimen for biking and these races he was signing up for, and I was just like, oh, I'd never. Okay, that's that is not where I'm at.
yeah. That's pretty high level.
But then you also get to say, like, do I desire that? Is that something I just never thought about? That is that something I want to pursue? Yes. Okay, awesome. Now not only do I have a vision, but I also have a resource to help me to achieve that vision. And that has a name and a face and a person with a phone number that I can reach out to, and they could give me a training plan or whatever that looks like. Right. One of the members of the group too, I was telling him about this, and I was talking to him about, he transitioned out of the military, super high performing dude, like absolute ninja, top of the top from a military perspective, and everything he's ever done. And he's just, he's got a lot of stuff going on. And I asked him the question. I said, hey, have you ever designed your calendar? Like, have you, no kidding, like, given yourself the liberty to sit down and just design what you want your ideal calendar, what you want it to be, your vision for your calendar, your daily activity? Have you ever done that? And and the answer was no. And I said, okay, well, as an exercise, just for consideration, you should do that, right? And he said, well, have you done that? And I'm like, yeah, Stu and I, it's always a work in progress, but like, we very specifically, said we want to do 20 hours of hard, very dedicated work towards our business. And we want to do this on Thursdays. We want to do this on Fridays. We want our Mondays to be deep work time. Like, we're constantly evolving it, but it came from the initial swag was a vision of what we want the calendar to be. And then we make our business decisions based off of that oftentimes. And so I was just describing that, and he sent me a quote, and I really love it. He said, oh man, I got a quote. I can't think of it right now, but I'll send it to you. And he just sent it. And it said, if the size of the vision you have for your life isn't intimidating to you, there's a good chance it's insulting to God. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. That's
Mm,
powerful, right? Like, if you are not thinking big enough, and a great resource for talking about this is Rick Warren. Like, he's like, dude, I always believed, my faith was always huge, but I never thought we'd own a campus in Southern California. The church would be this big, and there'd be this and that, and that, the purpose driven life, or the purpose driven life would have hit these book selling goals and all this stuff. And he was like, but my vision is always super, super scary. And always what I love, he said, it's always an impossible vision without God.
mm.
Like, without God, my vision it will never be achieved. Right. And so this quote, if the size of your vision of your life isn't intimidating to you, there's a good chance that it's insulting to God. I love that. It really resonates with me.
Yeah, dude. It's pretty rad. I think there's a lot of people that don't really ever even set a vision to begin with, you know. They kind of just go through life on this hamster wheel, and we've been really intentional about um, creating this vision for how we want our life to be run, and then taking action towards that and bettering ourselves every single day. And that's the entire purpose of getting these men together and talking about this stuff, right? And sharing our goals with each other and sharing our visions. And then, you can compare and contrast, and you can, again, help each other out, boost each other up, offer advice, and doing that together is way better than doing it alone.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Well, and it even has me thinking right now, like there's always room for growth. Right. And I'm excited. We've not talked about, me, you and Steven have not talked about, like, no kidding, like big old stinky scary goals for the Kinetic Man as a business itself, but also for the mastermind. And what, like, no kidding, like putting, like, I'm excited about the prospect of putting numbers down for like number of men impacted or marriages saved or whatever however we quantify that. I think we have some pretty good goals, but like I've not thought of it necessarily to intentionally put myself in a very uncomfortable place and to be like, yeah, man, I want this to impact this number of dudes and have this number of coaches, leading this number of houses and all that kind of stuff, to, like, no kidding, lay all that stuff out and put it up and be like, okay, all right, how do we get to that? How do we
Yeah.
get to that? Not for my benefit, not for my glory, but for the glory of God and for what we believe that we were put here to do. Like, it actually really excites me. I think once we get off this call, we should at least brainstorm on, like, hey man, like, let's put some stuff down and be like, and put it out there, right? Like, put it out there, make it real scary. Be like, this is our goal. This is what we're trying to do. Are you part of it or not? Like, I don't know. I think it'd be kind of rad.
Yeah.
But again, it's always, I would have not, without this group of men, I would have never gotten that text. And without the conversations we're having, it would have never been in the context of that, right?
Yeah.
So my life would be less fulfilled and fulfilling for me without the challenge of that vision and the words and the vision of, and the idea of God being insulted by my weak goal. I love that, dude. So good. So good.
I could just see, like, you're writing this goal out and showing it and being like, and God just be like, dude, that's weak sauce. Go back and do it again.
How awesome is that? How awesome is that? He's like, I didn't create you for that. That's, come on.
Come on,
Really?
man. Come on.
You think that's why I put a vision in your heart for that? Come on, man. Come on. Quit playing. That's cute.
Uh,
Quit playing.
that's cute. Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, man.
Go make big goals.
So challenge point is, don't make goals in a vacuum. But more importantly than just goals, your once a year or whatever, or however often you do it, surround yourself by people that are going to challenge you to be better, right? Surround yourself with folks who push you to be your best, because that's where the magic is, right? And I would argue that the vast majority of us are playing well below our true level. And I would even argue that most of us are playing very comfortably and not even considering how to be uncomfortable, which ultimately robs our lives and lives of those that we serve, because we're not being all we were created to be, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like you playing solo. Love you.
I got nothing. I love you too.
It's pain, the pain pills. Pain pills got you.
Got me. Good stuff, man.
Giddy up.
Bye.
See you.